Good morning, good evening, or to whoever you may be, across the nation or around the world. I'm Justin, and welcome to the Science Guys. Okay, to start off the day, what about the question of the day? Is the change in climate increased by human activity? Here today we have some special guests, Dr. Palumbo, Dr. Nyman, and Dr. Clifford, here to share their knowledge upon this subject. Now let's let Dr. Nyman take it from here. Dr. Nyman?
Professor Adgerman, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Hey, I'm Dr. Nyman, and I'm here today to talk to you about global climate change. It is a big worldly problem that's facing us today over the past few decades, and we have to deal with this big issue facing the entire world. It is a problem still unsolved, but together we can find a way to limit human activity from producing global climate change and make for a healthier, cleaner, and safer planet Earth. Now let's have a word from our conservation scientist, Dr. Rob Palumbo. Rob?
Hi, Dr. Nyman.
Dr. Palumbo?
Hello, Professor Adgerman. Hello, I'm Dr. Palumbo, a conservation scientist who is here to inform you that we are the problem. The environment is ruined, and how we treat the Earth is to blame. With pollution causing carbon emissions to cause the Earth to be unnaturally heated by those carbon emissions, which makes the polar ice caps melt, creates a flooding problem which will make all of the countries lose land to the ocean. Deep drought will cause tick-borne illnesses like Lyme disease, and we will fatally die slowly because of deforestation. Next up, Dr. Gary Wilford.
Hello, Dr. Palumbo.
Hello, Dr.
Dr. Clifford?
Good evening, Professor Jami. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Clifford. My job is to inform the general public of how the environment is causing global climate change. The environment is no joke, and without some factors, there can and will be problems. With deforestation and greenhouse gases setting up some trouble, climate change is happening.
Welcome back, and now we'll be talking with Dr. Nyman about global climate change. Dr. Nyman?
Professor Adgerman. Hello, I'm Dr. Nyman, and I believe that climate change is increased by human activity. Evidence to support this is pollution. We are always using fossil fuels, which we will one day run out of, and we'll have to find something else to use. Renewable resources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power do not pollute the air and will be necessary in the future to support our basic needs. Renewable resources are the way to go. Non-renewable resources aren't, because we will eventually run out of them, and they pollute our environment. An example of the amount of carbon dioxide emissions in renewable energy in the world will be shown on graphs later in this documentary. Greenhouse gases include carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, methane, and water vapor. These greenhouse gases pollute the air except for water vapor by itself, which still heats the Earth. The greenhouse effect heats the planet, and that's when ultraviolet radiation comes into play. The sun's harmful rays shine down on the Earth's surface. Most of the ultraviolet rays are absorbed by the ozone layer. Unfortunately, some of it gets trapped in the Earth's atmosphere, and they contribute to the global climate change of Earth along with the greenhouse effect.
Well, can global climate change be cold or hot?
Well, it depends on where you are in the world. The polar ice caps are actually melting right now due to global warming, but global warming is basically extreme high and low temperatures across the Earth. And this is what I'll be talking about next. Global climate change can be both extremely high temperatures and extremely low temperatures across the globe. Currently, we are experiencing melting at the North and South Poles. The average global temperature is increasing due to human activity and the amount of pollution we are contributing to our environment. Melting at the poles is a bad thing because it destroys the environment of the polar climate. And could ultimately cause different species of animals to go extinct, like polar bears and penguins. Also, as the ice melts at the poles, the height of sea level will increase, causing some parts of the world to be submerged underwater into an ocean habitat. People don't live in the ocean, so it wouldn't be a good thing if all of a sudden some parts of the world were underwater.
Welcome back, and now joining us is our conservation scientist, Rob Palumbo. Rob?
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
I'm a conservation scientist, and the climate is changing, and it's our fault. We have ruined our environment, but it can still be saved if we all change how we act. When we stop getting energy from a big energy provider, it will make them use less energy, and they will have less of a carbon footprint. There are always lower amounts of energy. Solar panels are ways to get a natural and green energy, and with a Tesla battery, they can store energy. It is argued that oil will run out that at the current rates, oil will run out in 53 years, natural gas in 54, and coal in 110. Now with the climate change, it will cause Lyme disease. Lyme disease is a bacterial illness spread by ticks that bite humans. And the ticks will flourish if the climate is hotter and not as cold, because they need to live during the summer and April seasons only. And the glaciers will melt, and they've been melting since 1960, and at this rate they will be gone by 30 years. And there will be droughts because of the unnatural heating of the carbon. Yeah.
Now joining us is the environmental scientist, Dr. Clifford. Dr. Clifford,
Professor Johnny,
nice to meet you.
nice seeing you. Hello, I'm Dr. Clifford, the environmental scientist. Changing the greenhouse effect, which affects the amount of heat retained by Earth's atmosphere. These factors cause Earth's climate to change many times. Scientists have pieced together a record of Earth's climate dating back to hundreds of thousands of years, and in some cases, millions or hundreds of million years, by analyzing a number of indirect measures of climate, such as ice cores, tree rings, glacier lengths, pond remains, and ocean sediments, by studying changes in Earth's orbit around the sun. Ice cores can tell us what the temperature was a long time ago. Tree rings tell us how old a tree is and how well a tree survived that year. With data from the tree ring, scientists see what the temperature was back then. This record shows the climate system varies naturally over a wide range of timescales. In general, climate changes prior to the Industrial Revolution in the 1700s can be explained by natural causes, such as changes in solar energy, volcanic eruptions, and natural changes in greenhouse gas (GHG) concentrations. Recent climate changes, however, cannot be explained by natural causes alone. Research indicates that natural causes do not explain most observed warming, especially warming since the mid-20th century. Rather, it is extremely likely that human activities have been the dominant cause of that warming.
What about deforestation?
Well, deforestation is another large factor for the environmental climate change. With more trees being cut down every day, low levels of oxygen is on the rise. In Brazil, the Cerrado is a large and important part of the ecosystem. The Cerrado makes 1/5 of Brazil's total area. This area is getting cut down without oxygen. Without oxygen, the carbon cycle will fail. If humans keep cutting down trees, we might not have enough oxygen to survive. Latin America and the Caribbean had a big drop in forest area, losing 970,000 kilometers from 1990 to 2015.
I believe there's been some very bad pollution lately.
That is correct. In China, there are factories that literally pump out air pollution. There have been 250,000 tons of ozone-depleting substances. These substances have been breaking down the environment and causing problems for animals too. These animals cannot breathe in the smog with the chemicals. Even humans can't breathe this smog. This air pollution is causing problems for all. Fish in China cannot live in the infected water. There's also a lot of acid rain in China that pollutes the water and can hurt the environment. And those are really most of the things that environmentally cause global climate change.
Yeah, it's like great to know really what's happening. I mean,
Yes.
what we're really doing to this planet.
Yes, well, nice talking to you.
Nice talking. As you have heard from the works and teachings of Dr. Nyman, Dr. Palumbo, and Dr. Clifford, you now know that global climate change is happening and is on the rise. Around the world or across the nation, I'm Professor Jami. See you next time on The Science Guys.
Hi, good morning. Cam O'Connell is going to be talking about global climate change.
Global climate change will cause glaciers to melt and will rise sea levels on eastern seaboards, as well as flooding and drought in those areas.
How is climate change affecting Antarctica?
The temperatures are getting warmer and the rate is 6 times the global average, and the global average is 57.2 degrees Fahrenheit.
Why are glaciers getting affected by global climate change?
The greenhouse gases trap the carbon dioxide to produce more heat, which makes the glaciers
Is the rate of melting glaciers speeding up or slowing down?
glaciers are speeding up around the world. What is the effect on Arctic wildlife?
Well, due to glacial melting, the wildlife located in Arctic areas are losing their habitats, and with this comes the loss of their food sources. Also, there's an effect on the animals' populations, as the loss of food and habitat has left them almost bound for extinction. For example, the polar bears and the polar ice caps.
Is there an increase or decrease in sea level?
Yes, sea level is increasing due to glacial melting as an effect of global climate change. Yet because of the increasing sea levels, there is going to be major effects on the coast, like flooding and erosion. Also, there is a loss of resources due to these occurrences. This can be observed at the eastern seaboard and western seaboard, where the sea levels are rising due to this. A good example of this is in Miami, Florida, where there is a drastic rise in sea level, and scientists are predicting that by 2100 there will be a 14-foot increase in sea level. Also, even here on Cape Cod, we are constantly threatened by the melting glaciers. We have so far experienced a huge increase in sea level throughout the years, and we are now in danger of increased height of storms and flooding.
How could you start rethinking your normal routine by looking for alternatives means of travel?
Don't release as much carbon dioxide into the air by using a lot of coal and oil, and you could also use solar panels to power your house.
Hello and welcome everyone to Channel 105 News. Today we will be answering one very important question. That is, will the health of humans be affected by climate change? I'm going to give it away to Professor Kafua, a very intelligent climate scientist and top professor at Harvard. He will be talking to us about animal-borne illnesses, flooding, and sun rays.
Hello, and thank you for having me. It's truly an honor. First, I'd like to start off introducing what I'm presenting. I'm here telling you the many influences climate has on us humans. Sun radiation, flooding, and animal-borne illnesses all take a toll on our environment. Sun radiation is very strong during the summer, making people get higher in temperature and cause sunburns, which means people have to use sunblocks so that they don't get burnt. Floods also cause major damage, not just taking lives, but destroying billions of dollars in property damage. And farms getting overwhelmed leads to a downfall in food getting around America. But this can all be helped by raking leaves and disposing of them. Yes, there may be dangerous floods and sun radiation to worry about during the summer and fall, but the most dangerous would be animal-borne illnesses around the globe, like the Zika virus in South America. We can all do a lot to help our climate along with it already helping us. One thing we can do is help the amount of waste we produce and throw away, causing several greenhouse gases to be launched. The recycling can also produce greenhouse gases. Thank you for having me. It's truly an honor. I hope to come back another day.
Thank you very much for your time, Jeremy. And now we're going to an environmental scientist and the CEO of NASA, Mercer Lovering.
Environmental scientist here to talk to you today about some major environmental issues affecting our world in a very negative way. As Jeremy the climate scientist mentioned earlier, one major problem going on in the world today is the Zika virus. This is a very serious virus, and there have been 2 cases found in the United States, one in Florida and one here in Massachusetts. The case found in Massachusetts was a woman that had just returned from a foreign country that was once her homeland. The Zika virus is found in a certain type of mosquitoes that, when bitten, transfers into the bloodstream. If the climate was to begin to change, then these certain types of insects could become inhabitable to specific areas, and they would become more common, and this horrible disease could spread. One of the most common side effects of this disease is rash, fever, joint pains, and redness of the eyes. If the person who is affected is pregnant, the baby could be born with an abnormal sized head being smaller than the average child's head. We can't help but wonder why this might be happening. And the sad reality is it might be because of us humans. Every day we cause so much pollution. Think about how often you ride in the car. Every time you ride in the car, you burn 24 pounds of carbon dioxide for 1 pound gallon of gas, and you probably use many gallons of gas when driving in the car. So we are releasing pollution that we don't even think about. We must stop our ways. Whether we change to electric cars, take shorter showers, or use more organic products, we must stop this.
Thank you, Mercer, for sharing all that information with us. And now we're going to our conservation scientist, Morgan Wenzel from Villanova.
Hello, my name is Morgan Wenzel, and today I'm coming to you from Channel 105 News. Have you ever wondered what would happen if the weather just changed the blink of an eye? It would affect human health immensely. If you were on vacation on a tropical island and you decided to relax on the beach, then suddenly it began to snow, that would be terrible. Luckily, climate doesn't change that fast. To start, during global climate change, there are both positive and negative ways it affects human health. First, if you lived in a very warm, dry place and it started to become more humid and wet, people around the area could experience allergic reactions because of the level of dust. For example, last year in 2015, the East Coast had a very harsh winter because Canada blew winds west down the Atlantic Ocean. Due to these temperatures last winter in Florida, it began to become very cold. They even got flurries of snow. If this pattern continues at a steady pace, the climate in the area of Florida will become pretty cold. Next, if the opposite were to occur, we'd have a huge problem. All the water from the rain would cause floods. Since people in this area are not used to these types of storms, people won't know how to react. Their cars will be flooded and homes will be ruined. This could result in injury or even worse, death.
Thank you all very much for your help with this show and making it possible. And to all of our viewers, now you know the most important effects and solutions for climate change. This was Channel 105 News. Thank you for watching, and John McDonald signing off.
Hello, welcome to After Class with Matthew Lyons on Channel 14. Today we have a couple special guests to talk about climate change. So here's Will. He's here to talk about his most recent studies. Welcome to the show. So how are you doing today?
Great, thank you. So I have to be on the show.
Oh, all right, nice. So what can you tell us about your most recent studies?
Well, according to my personal studies, we have found out that our climate is changing at an alarming rate.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, for instance, every 18,000 years, our Earth goes through a major phase. Our last major phase was an ice age.
Do you know what the next climate change will be or when it will happen?
That's a very broad question. Climate change is happening quickly, 10 times faster in the past 65 million years.
Wow, that sounds very serious.
Yes, and since the temperatures are increasing, our next global climate change is the next fast-moving change.
Really?
Yes.
Well, thank you for being on the show and sharing that information with us.
You are welcome.
So, after the commercial break, we're going to be introducing Phoebe to the show. Hey, welcome back to the show. So, we're introducing Phoebe Cardozo, who's here to talk about her most recent studies. She's an environmental scientist, and what have you come here to talk about?
Well, us as humans have a huge impact on how the environment is slowly changing.
Can you tell us how we specifically impact the environment?
Yes, we affect agriculture, crops, fisheries, and forestry as well. For example, when we cut down trees or cause fires, we have a huge impact on how the wildlife lives in the forests.
How does this affect us and other wildlife ecosystems?
Well, deforestation makes animals lose their natural habitats. Their habitats is also shared with us to provide us oxygen so we can breathe.
I see. Do we know how much deforestation we have caused?
Yes, nearly half the original world's forest has been destroyed by us.
Half? How are we doing this?
Well, each year 16 million trees are burned down, cut down, or even bulldozed. Trees are vital for maintaining a healthy ecosystem, and with us affecting this is really bad. Up to 171% for wood consumption was between 1950 and 2002.
That's horrible. What are some other ways we're impacting the environment?
We also impact the environment with unsustainable harvesting of fish and other wildlife in the ocean.
What do you mean by that, exactly?
So with us harvesting too much fish from the ocean, it disturbs the balance of the aquatic environment.
Is there any way we can fix this?
Well, there are laws in certain states that sustain the people from taking too much fish out of the ocean.
So, is there anything else that we can talk about that kind of correlates to this?
Well, we also impact the environment with air pollution.
So what do you mean by that? How are we doing this?
So burning fossil fuels produced by factories causes air pollution, and also the amount of cars that we use today produces air pollution as well.
So what do you recommend that we do to cut down on our air pollution?
Well, we can cut down on air pollution by carpooling. It is a great way to save the amount of gas that we produce to a day-to-day basis.
So is there anything else that we can do just to cut down pollution in general?
Well, we can work together as a community and carpool, like I said, or in the factories, we can try and come up with a different way to work.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that was all really good information, and we hope to see you on the show again. So thank you for coming on. We should definitely stay more aware of our surroundings and make wise decisions if we want our planet to remain safe for us. Moving on to the bright side, How have we improved this over the years?
Technology. With the help of technology, we've come up with electric cars, wind turbines, and solar panels that can conserve energy and better our planet. Also, throughout social media, advertisements and posts have influenced others to want to help out. We have been helping animals and plants here on Earth by using more drip irrigation and developing wildlife conservation and migration plans to protect endangered species.
How do these up-and-coming inventions help us and our Earth?
These new ideas support agriculture because climate change decreases the value and overall growth of crops and plants. As the temperature rises, our Earth heats up and disrupts the ecosystems throughout water and simply the land itself. Drip irrigation has definitely helped us through this concern.
Based on your statement about technology, it seemed to have impacted us greatly then. Please tell me more about these inventions with renewable energy.
Like I said before, we come up with Tesla electric cars which run on rechargeable batteries, also known as clean energy source. These cars are 100% eco-friendly and they run on electrically powered engines.
You heard it. Tesla electric cars are the new rage and benefit our Earth more than you think. I think we have time for just one more invention. Would you tell us about one?
Of course. Another invention that has been benefiting our environment are solar panels. Constructing buildings with solar panels and renewable energy sources has helped stop global climate change because the energy is derived directly from the sun, rather than from fossil fuels, in which Phoebe explained pollute the air and damage the planet.
These new inventions sound amazing. Hopefully people will want to join in and help out with saving our planet. Thank you very much for sharing your apprehension on conservation with us today.
Hi, I'm Billy Doyle, and with me today is Rachel Cooney, an environmental scientist. Hey, Rachel.
Hi.
What is an example of habitat destruction?
Habitat destruction is in the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon rainforest consists of thousands of species of plants and animals, both who have become extinct or are endangered. Deforestation is one of the biggest problems of habitat destruction that this world has ever known.
What are some results of habitat destruction and deforestation?
Some results of deforestation are that by cutting down tons of trees each day, to be precise, 1.5 acres worth of trees and wildlife every second, we are minimizing our source of oxygen. We are also destroying the habitats of many animals. For example, jaguars, orangutans, harpy eagles, manatees, tamarin monkeys, and pink river dolphins. These are all great examples of animals that are losing their homes, and in that case, their chances of survival.
Are plants becoming extinct too?
Yes. Animals are not the only things endangered or becoming extinct. Plants are also great examples of endangered species. In fact, experts say we are losing 137 plant, animal, and insect species every day due to rainforest deforestation only. That equals up to 50,000 species going extinct a year because of one thing.
Is it possible some of these plants that they can cure cancer?
Yes, many plant species that are becoming extinct are or were possible cures for life-threatening diseases. It has been known that less than 1% of these plant species have been tested by scientists.
That's unbelievable. How can it make a difference?
To help prevent deforestation is to create more natural parks or wildlife sanctuaries, as well as to help by stop buying products from General Mills. General Mills is a major part in deforestation, cutting down the largest percentage of trees in the rainforest than any other company.
How does building wildlife sanctuaries and national parks help with deforestation?
Well, by creating wildlife sanctuaries, you are not only protecting the animals in that habitat, but the plants and trees as well. Wildlife sanctuaries act as barriers to General Mills because they can't cut down trees or build farms in a protected area. It also helps to protect against poachers.
Thanks for sharing that with Rachel. Thanks for coming here today.
Thanks for having me.
Hello, Billy.
Hey there, Ethan. How are you?
Thanks, I'm doing great with my studies.
So, have anything to say to us?
Yes, and it's very important. Animals that are being exposed to climate change and radioactive material are dying and their populations are shrinking. I and many others are trying to stop this. A simple light can contribute to climate change because of the process of getting that energy. We are burning natural products like coal and natural gas that are releasing emissions that are relating to greenhouse gases.
Being a climate scientist, I have to look after the after effects on the percentage of the greenhouse gases that have been rising, which has changed the climate in some areas of the world. Polar bears are going extinct because of climate seas. Ice is forming longer in the fall and disappearing early in the spring. Some animals that are going extinct, like the zebra, a penguin, the Atlantic cod, a peacock, giraffes, horses, dolphins, all because of changes.